Imagine spending about what, $4,000 on a laser hair removal, unlimited lifetime laser package. And then you get your first treatment done, everything seems fine. And then all of a sudden, the next treatment you show up and the doors are locked. So there's maybe later you get an email saying, hey, the company is financially insolvent, or for whatever reason, they had to shut down. So you're sitting on this unlimited laser hair removal, and now you can't get any of those treatments done. So that's something that we see all the time. At spas, unfortunately, when the industry grows, the industry also has the ones that die off. And so how do you determine which ones those are? And what do you need to be looking for when it comes to laser hair removal? Not only the treatment, not only the settings they're using, does the technician have experience, but you also have to look at the company. How long have they been around? There's so many, especially right now
Papa.
in our area. Well, there's mobile ones. There's ones that just popped up a year ago. There's a lot of, not like I say solo nurse injectors, solo SDs that want to, hey, I'm going to open a spa because I know how to do skincare, but they don't know how to do business. That's where those types of things you need to be aware of. How long have they been doing what they're doing? Do they seem like they're financially stable? And, am I going to get my money's worth? Now we can go into also later. I mean, we can go into the unlimited piece and how that's just, in my opinion, more of a scam than anything else. Especially a lot of the chains out there that try to advertise to unlimited or lifetime. When you see those words, and honestly, we tried it years ago, and that's how we really learned, hey, this isn't lucrative for the client, and it's not lucrative for us. So we were actually unfair to us and the client in those situations, and so we had to get rid of that program. But now we do packages. Now we do prepaids for a short term, and it just takes the risk off the client, and it actually makes it better for both parties.
And I would say too, what's worse than spending that kind of money and not getting results either, which is like another huge thing we see specifically with laser hair removal too. So,
Yeah, they can go. So when they come in for laser hair removal, a lot of times they're not educated on exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it, how does it work. And the reason being is because the technicians, a lot of time they do it all day long, and they just get complacent with having to explain every detail of the laser hair removal process. And they assume that you probably know what you're doing. I have a lot of clients that come in and they're like, oh yeah, no, I've had this done before, but I didn't really get great results. Why is your laser different? And one, we have the best laser there is. Anytime there is some new technology that's going to make it less painful, or quicker services, we jump on those. And so we have an amazing laser, but when they ask the question, how's your laser better? That tells me they haven't been educated. They haven't gone through the right consult process. And so that's what we try to do is when I say, hey, hold on a second, let's talk about what you're getting done. That's when we just have a chat. So we'll talk for a good 10, 15 minutes sometimes, answer every question you have, because I'm finding that a lot of other spas don't actually go through that full process. So knowing that it takes 6 to 12 treatments sometimes, depending on your skin tone, your nationality,
your hormones.
your
Mhm.
hormones are huge ones.
Yeah.
Your PCOS, if you have other issues or you're taking certain medications,
Pellets.
you're on testosterone pellets.
Mm.
Those all matter huge
Yeah.
in your journey. So, and age is a big factor as well. So anything that's going to disrupt the hormones, menopause, pregnancy, birth control is a big one too. And then again, the
And
women
then a
that
lot
get
of
PCOS.
teenagers starting laser hair removal, in high school, which is great. I mean, it's not a bad thing. Just knowing your body is still changing immensely. So you're going to need a lot more treatments, but a lot more treatments over time, like in a lifetime, not necessarily bam, 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 or, but just having that right expectation that you definitely are going to need more touch ups um, throughout your life. And again, just making sure that you're partnered with the correct place that one gives you that expectation to begin with, but is going to be there when you go back to get your treatments, which I think is what you're kind of starting with here. And I kind of changed
No, it's perfect. So,
topic
so
here.
what we're talking about two things right now, but they
Yeah.
also mean the same thing. So when we're talking about getting the treatment done by a reputable place and a reputable technician. Those
Mhm.
two things are huge.
Yeah.
And so they fall in line with each other. So you have the place making sure that they've been around, they know what they're doing, they're financially stable. You're not going to prepay for some, enormous prepaid and then not get the services done. So we're finding that's happening more and more in this industry, especially in Arizona right now too. So the other piece of that is going in and knowing you're getting a reputable technician, because the place could have been there for a long time, but the technician might be new. The technician might not be, have all the education that they need to inform you based on a million variables. And so we go through that. We go through your nationality. We go through any medications that you're on. We make sure that, you're just the simple questions like, how's your sun exposure? If you're not asking about how often they've been in the sun in the last few days, that could cause a burn. And so we see these on social media all the time. The pictures of
And
the
having
burns.
berries, can I share a story
Yeah, go
actually
ahead.
that happened this week? Happened just this week. Same questions I've always asked. Any changes in, I mean, I had just seen her not too long before. Any changes in medication, any recent sun exposure? She said no to both. As we're done, and she's always been like fairly tan, so tanner or just a little bit darker skin tone. So when we're done, I notice the little sticker on her hip. So she had been in a tanning bed, which she, in her mind, she didn't think as sun exposure.
Right,
Luckily,
right.
I mean, I was treating her low enough because I knew she was a little bit darker anyways, and she's fine. And that's something, when we're doing these treatments, we're asking 100 times, how's your skin feeling? Do you have any hot spots? Like, what's your comfort level? Because you should not be in immense pain during laser hair removal. If that's happening, either one, they're treating you too hot or they have old technology. I mean, you could just be a baby too. There is that. I mean, not everybody has high pain tolerance, but it should not be so uncomfortable that you cannot get through these treatments. However, everybody's idea of sun exposure is different. So tanning beds equal sun exposure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, so
Yes. Can I share one?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
So
so a laser hair removal horror story. This one is I have the permission to share it, so it's one that I talk about a lot. So we actually had an ex-employee that left Allure and she moved out of state and she went somewhere and they were doing laser hair removal on her. And she was getting it done by somebody that was training, but also had had years experience. So I don't really understand if they were training in laser hair removal or I'm not sure. They they had been around enough to know better. She was in excruciating pain during the entire treatment. Um, and she just thought, well, they just have a different laser than I've had done previously. Her burns were horrific, like ankle to her Brazilian, just full burns, scabs, scars that at this point I still don't even know if they're all the way healed up. Um, so that what I mean, she sent us pictures and I was horrified because she is a harder client to work on. She's naturally doesn't have a very high pain tolerance. So kind of I don't want to say this in a bad way, but kind of overreacts to the point where you're like, you could barely touch her and she's like, oh, it hurts. And you're like, well, does it? But was excruciating the entire time. Her skin was on fire. And now she has hopefully not permanent burns, but
well, they want
a lot of recovery to go through with that. So there are definitely horror stories out there. However, that's not
and
the norm.
it's not meant to scare you. It's just that they were also using the wrong laser, in
Yeah.
my opinion, for it.
Mhm.
When people try to use, an IPL is not technically a laser, but lot of clinics will use that for hair removal because it's a cheaper device. You can use it for skin care, so you get rid of sun damage and redness with it. But you can also use it because it's a similar wavelength to laser hair removal. So a lot of clinics use it. Now it's not nearly as efficacious, so it's not going to be you're not going to get as good results with it by far. And it's
Yeah.
only for a very specific skin tone and color of hair. So when you get into an actual laser hair removal, you're looking at different wavelengths like 1064s and 755s, and you can treat every skin type with those safely. But when it comes to laser, I mean, there are a lot of horror stories out there. But when you have the right technician that asks the right questions and knows what they're looking for. So some of the lasers today as well have what are called safe settings. And so you pick the skin type, you pick the hair color, you pick the thickness of the hair and the density, and it generates settings for you.
Right.
Now, those settings are generated by the manufacturer. So you have to understand that they're not going to be held liable if the setting is too high or causes a burn. So they're not going to generate a setting that is going to give you very good results hand in hand. So you have to know what you're looking for as a technician. What kind of endpoints do I have? Like, I'm finding parafollicular edema, which is like just a little swelling of each follicle afterwards, or is there any erythema? You can also smell the hair, which is the smell of success, is what we call it. Uh, those are all good endpoints. When they're screaming in agony, that's not a great endpoint.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and then, we're seeing more, um, right now too. There's a shift where we're seeing a lot more men coming in for laser hair removal,
Heck yeah.
a lot. And I knew that shift was coming. It's just getting over the masculine, like, I don't need to go to a spa for anything type of
Right.
feeling. But
Yeah, laser hair removal is obviously great for everybody, but like, yes, notoriously women are kind of more comfortable coming into spas, so they're probably the first ones to treat it, and then it's like, "Hey, I really need to get my husband in
yeah,
here," and so then I would say most popular areas we're treating for men are, like, the beard line, those areas that get really, like, a lot of irritation from shaving, a lot of ingrown hairs, um, it's almost summertime, so everybody's gonna be by the pool, we're gonna be out in the sun, so you gotta get your back done, but yeah, we do, I would say 80-20 female men,
easily 80.
70-30.
No, it's about 80-20, but it was 90-10 before.
Yeah.
And so it is slowly getting
Then
those.
don't be scared. You can get laser hair removal too.
Yeah. Well, what about that? What about like, what's that movie, 40-Year-Old Virgin,
Right.
where he's screaming in agony because they're throwing all that wax on him and pulling
That's
just an immense amount of hair all
yes.
at once. So, I mean, is it similar to that?
So, I pain-wise or what?
Ex-
Reaction-wise?
Experience wise, yeah.
Yeah,
What's the difference? I say because so in that movie they're waxing,
right.
not lasering. What's
Horrifically, by the way, may I add.
Yeah,
Nobody waxes that
don't do
way.
that. But what would be the
Straight
difference
nipples.
between getting that done on my back as opposed to laser?
Yeah. So, why would you do one over the
Yeah,
other? Is that what you're asking? Okay,
because
so
laser sounds
yeah.
terrifying.
It's actually so I would say in the last few years, what I've noticed, and I didn't feel this way before. So technology has gotten better over the 20 something years of me doing laser hair removal. So I do feel like bad for some of the people that I have tortured in the past with old devices. And they were great technology at that time, but technology just has changed. So it's not nearly as painful. So my waxing clients, I'm like, girl, what are we doing here? Like, let's just get you in the laser room. Let's move on. It's not nearly as painful as it used to be. It's fast. There's zero downtime. You're not tender afterwards. So, little to no irritation as far as like ingrown hairs and that kind of stuff. So, the question is, somebody with that thick of hair, what would I recommend? 100% laser hair removal over waxing. Now I can wax you, it's fine, but I'll see you back in 4 weeks and we'll do it all again. Or I can see you, in 8 weeks with half the hair that we had today. You're not going to have ingrowns in between. You're going to have very little sensitivity or irritation, if any, maybe a day. Um,
Well,
but you're not really having to do any maintenance in between. It's just like the hairs fall out, you're hair free for a month or so, a new cycle of hair comes in, I treat that, and then we start all over again. So, um,
and that's the piece that a lot of people don't know in the education is that when do I need to come back?
Mhm.
Why do I need to come back? So we explain that the hair cycles, how they
Yeah.
grow. But when it comes to, like, let's say somebody, well, two questions. So one is a man comes in, sorry, or a woman, and from Star Wars, like Chewbacca comes in. do you want them to come in looking like that, or do they need to be doing anything to prep?
Yeah.
And then also, let's just say a basic full back laser is a pretty big area. It's probably one of the biggest areas we do. What is the cost range for something like that?
Yeah. So, first question was like how often we're doing it? Was that your
Well, it's
first
not like if they
question?
come in hairy. I mean, do you want
Oh,
that dense of hair?
yeah.
What
So,
do you want them to do
yes.
prior?
When I see somebody super hairy, I'm like, we are going to get you such great results. So I get super excited because the darker, coarser hairs are going to work better and faster. However, you do need to shave the best you can before treatment. So
And no,
especially,
shaving does not cause the hairs to grow back there.
yes, that is a
We'll get into that
misconception.
later.
I don't
But
care what your
continue.
mom told you. My mom told me the same thing. It's not real. So yeah, you do want to shave before laser treatments. You cannot wax before laser treatment. I don't know who started that little lie in the industry, but no, you do need to wax. Keep those
No, you
follicles.
don't need to
Sorry,
wax. Sorry.
sorry, you do not wax. You want to shave before. We want that hair in the skin. That dark, coarse, as you said, Chewbacca hair. You're gonna get such good results. Um, and you're gonna see even faster results than somebody who has thinner hairs. So as far as like cost wise, um, you're going to let's see. I would say most treatments range anywhere from like depending on what size area we're doing, what 70 to $200 per
Yeah, usually
treatment per area.
usually in that range. The cost has come down quite a bit
Yeah.
because of the efficacy. So the speed of the lasers has
Mhm.
risen, so we can do more clients.
Yeah.
And
And the devices have been
yeah,
more affordable for
yeah, and it doesn't matter too if you have like I have clients that come in, and I have a couple that were started out like Chewbacca, and so it doesn't matter if you have that much hair or if you have less,
Mhm.
more just vellus, little
Yeah.
dense spots. It's the same price because we end up hitting all of the hair. I guess
Treating
that's
an
something that
area, not
people don't know is that we'll hit hairs that are actively growing under the skin that you haven't even seen yet.
Mhm.
And so that's what causes it to when you get a laser hair removal treatment, once that hair falls out after about a week, you don't have any hair growth for several weeks after until you're due for your next appointment. So it's not like you have to get through all of your appointments before you notice a difference. You notice a difference right after the first treatment, or at least you should.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're not seeing hair falling out right after your treatment within the first week, sometimes two, depending on the area, either one, your hairs are too light, or and so like the laser didn't see them at all. So you have your reds, grays, blondes hair. Unfortunately, they do not work. But if they are falling out right after your treatment, you know that you had a good treatment. Those follicles were affected and all is well. But if they are not, that is definitely something you need to make a phone call within a few weeks to
Mhm.
the spa and talk to them and ask why you did not have the results that you were hoping for. So there's a lot of variables in that, obviously. But if you have dark, coarse hair, even just dark hair, it doesn't have to be coarse.
Yeah, you're a
You
candidate at
will,
that point.
you are a candidate and you will see results. And another little lie out in the industry is that you can't get laser hair removal if you have dark skin. And that is not true.
No, we do them all
All
the time.
skin tones can get laser hair removal now. So
We do them all the
safely.
time, and we do it safely. The laser that we have, only a handful of clinics in Arizona even have it. It's fairly new. It's relatively painless. So we've had clients come in who've been getting underarms done, but they're too afraid to get any other areas done because of the pain.
Mhm.
I think the very sensitive areas, and now they're all transitioning to, oh
Yeah.
wow, this is amazing. Let's do everything else.
Right.
And that's why, and so we have memberships for those.
Mhm.
So kind of transitioning back to the fact that you want to make sure that your company you're going to is reputable before you get into any kind of a long-term commitment. But we have the memberships for that reason. And so the memberships allow you to save some money, get a little break on a long-term play, but also get multiple treatments or multiple areas done in one time. So really, like I would say that's a huge reason why people would want to come to us because one, we're always looking at the cutting edge technology. We're always looking at making sure we have the best devices, and the devices aren't cheap, unfortunately, but it's it's required.
Mhm.
It's required to compete, and it's required to give the client the best experience possible. When you're using older technology, you notice the pain is worse. You notice the results are not as good. It's not as versatile. And so coming to us means you're going to get the education that you need. You're going to get a proper consultation. You have a voice, so you're able to really dig in and ask exactly what I'm getting into with this. So you're not just a churn number,
Right.
essentially like a chain.
Right. And we take education very seriously with our entire team, ourselves plus our team. So we're always making sure that we're coming together as a team and we're training and making sure everybody really understands, even with our front desk, making sure that they know how to explain the treatment and that they've had the services done themselves. And we actually just had a new hire. She's been with us only a few weeks and she's been like so nervous to do laser hair removal. She's worked at multiple med spas in the past. And I'm like, girl, let's just get this over with real quick. And so now you can see it and you can see like it's super easy, it's comfortable, it's quick. Like, I mean, I'm a speed waxer. I can wax you quick, but I guarantee my laser treatments are still faster than
Much
my
faster.
waxing treatment. So,
Depending on the areas you're getting, you can usually just,
oh
I
yeah,
mean, you can lunch break it,
yeah, you're in and
make it
out.
in. We already have done the education with you. That tends to be the longest portion of it. But normally, if you're getting, let's just say, you're Brazilian, that's our most popular area. You come in and get a Brazilian done. As long as you know what you're doing and the education piece has been done, you're usually out of there. And I mean, we can treat the whole area in 5, maybe 7 minutes total,
Mhm.
and then you're out of there. And after you're done, you don't feel anything afterwards. Really, it's it's relatively painless.
Yeah,
So
15-minute appointment from in and out for the most part,
yeah,
depending on the area, of course. So,
right. We
um,
rarely do one area. That's the thing is we're people come in and we'll do, okay, we're doing lip, chin, underarm, nape and neck, Brazilian, and you multiple
underarms,
multiple areas.
underarms are the gateway drug to laser hair removal. You start with underarms and
Mm.
now you're doing full body. Like once you've seen the results of that and go through life without having to shave every day or do your girls know what this means, like your everything shower where you have to like shave your whole body and all of that. Like you cut that out of your life. Easy
Oh,
peasy.
big time.
Yeah.
But I mean that makes sense too when we go back to buying an unlimited laser package. That tells me that they're not educating the client. Because if the client was educated properly on what they were getting into, they would understand that unlimited can't actually be done the way they want it to be done.
Yeah.
And that means that
You shouldn't need.
different body parts can only be treated every so often,
Mhm.
or else they're doing nothing. And I've heard many, many stories about people getting underarm lasered every 2 weeks
Mhm.
because it's unlimited. They can come in as much as they want. But when you're getting underarms done every 2 weeks, the next two treatments you get are doing absolutely nothing. There's no target, there's no hair, there's nothing to hit. But you don't know that because you're just trusting you're going in and
Yeah.
getting, oh, I've gotten 20 or 30 treatments done and I'm not noticing the results I thought I should. It's because a third, 2/3 of those treatments actually were doing nothing.
Yeah.
It was like shining a flashlight on your skin. And so you have to understand that if you're getting into an unlimited laser, one, you're getting into a lifetime. You can do unlimited for a year, let's say. Well, if you do unlimited for a year, that's only so many treatments on your back. For example, it's between 8 and 10 weeks between treatments. So really, if you're going the 10 week, you're not even getting 6 treatments in a year. So that's when you educate the client and say, we're going to do as many as it takes, but we would rather put you into a package where you have individual treatments as opposed to this wonderland of thinking that you have an infinite amount of treatments.
Yeah. Well, because at the end of the day, we have to customize for each person and that kind of stuff. So we make sure that we're putting them on the plan they need because let's say I'm working on somebody for Brazilian and normally I would see them every 6 weeks, but this person is maybe a little bit older or just naturally their hair's slowed down a little bit. So you just need to know how to space out everybody's appointments based on their hair growth cycles and not just, oh, well, you're in a program, so just come back whenever you need. It's like, well, why? We're just wasting time, money, energy, all
Yeah.
of that kind of stuff. So,
I had a
um,
client, not just, I had a client recently, I'll just quick story, who said that they were getting so many laser treatments. Every 6 weeks, they'd go into a place. I can't remember if they were on an unlimited or not, but they would go into this place, they would get laser, and then they would go home. And they said, I noticed nothing, but they said that that's normal. So, one, that's not normal. You should notice the hairs falling out. It's just a dead shaft at that point. And so when I looked at her hairs, it was on her arms. They're all blonde. So
Me so
immediately I
Mhm.
have to give them the news that what they're paying for isn't doing anything, and that, whatever they want to do with that information. But essentially, laser hair removal does not kill blonde hairs. It doesn't kill gray hairs. It doesn't kill white hairs. And redheads. I mean, that's another one that people don't know a lot
Yeah.
about. Redheads,
Also,
it,
like vellus hair, like
your Venice peach
that
fuzz
peach fuzzies. I don't care, even if
type
it's a
hair.
little dark, it's not gonna work.
And that's where the education comes in, because I get asked that a lot. Is like, well, these hairs are still there. Those hairs are dead. Those hairs have been dead. They're just corked in there. They're past their telogen phase, which is their last phase of growth. They detach. They're not dying no matter what treatment you do. When you get into, say, white hairs, so I have a lot of clients that do have black and white hairs on their lip chin area. A lot of females, especially if they're on testosterone, which a lot of them are now to get the hormones right, is they're growing these black hairs. But if there's white hairs in there too, we double up essentially. So I do electrolysis as well, which is more of a manual method, and it doesn't matter what color the hair is. So what we're able to do is laser for the dark hairs and then take them in and do electrolysis for all the white hairs. Whereas you go to a laser clinic, they're not going to be able to help you with the white hairs.
Yeah.
And so that's another important piece of it, as
Yeah.
well as understanding, am I a candidate for laser? And people will work on you if you're not a candidate.
Mhm.
They may not know, they may not have a full understanding. Some white hairs have black bulbs, those will get killed, but for the majority of the time, that's not the case. So you just really have to be educated on it. And when I can go and take a sample with electrolysis of maybe pull 10 hairs and let's just see what kind of darkness we have underneath, a typical clinic can't do that. They just have to trust that it's working or not.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's obviously like a lot of options in hair removal. There's laser, there's waxing, you have your at-home stuff now. Um
Nair,
yeah, I remember
can I
back
say
in the
that?
day, the Nair like causing burns on my own self. I'm sure there might be a better way to use it, but my experience was awful. I've heard of other people having bad experiences, but also I want to talk quickly about these at home, like laser hair removal devices that you can get at like Costco now and different things like that. Those are glorified flashlights, in my opinion. Um, they will stunt a hair. You may notice some well, honestly, all of your epilating, your Nair, your at home laser hair removal devices, you are not going to permanently kill a hair. They are not selling something at Costco that somebody has to, be certified in, have a laser medical director on hand, buying $100,000 devices. They are not selling the equivalent technology for $100 at Costco. So, what you think you're getting at the store, I promise you, you're not. Leave it to a professional for some things, or just stick to shaving at home if that's something that you're wanting to just, do an at-home treatment. But your devices that you're spending all of this money on, I've seen clients spend up to $600 for a device that temporarily stunted their hair, and then immediately it all just grows back because it's not.
There's nothing permanent
Yeah.
about it.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
not at all.
So,
But
mm,
um, when you get, let's see, I guess, when can you get it? I had a client the other day ask how young is too young.
mhm.
She was talking about her daughter. But as far as that question, and then what age ranges do you see?
So I've worked on kids as young at this is not typical, but I have worked on I want to say the youngest was 11, which we have an almost 11-year-old, so I don't know that I would necessarily go that route. However, this little girl was getting made fun of so badly at school for having like a little unibrow. And so I was like, Yeah, of course, we're gonna work on her. So we did. We did some laser treatments. We're not shaping her brows or anything like that, but just to kind of give her two instead of one brow. But explaining that when you start a lot younger, you will need a lot more services over time. But typically, I would say most of our, I mean, honestly, laser hair removal, I feel like I have such large range of ages. Um, so I would say your 20-year-olds are definitely in the, I don't know, Brazilian age range. They're doing a lot more of that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I would say your ages are kind of a little all over the place. I don't know. I don't know if there's like an average, but you cannot be too old to get laser hair removal. I'm trying to think of like the oldest
Well,
that I've worked
so
on, but
so
like
I'll say when, and this
70s?
is important. If you're thinking about getting laser hair removal, you need to do it before your hairs start going gray.
Yes.
Uh,
That actually is something I
or
hear all the time is that,
half and
"Man, I
half.
wish I would have done this when
Yes.
I was younger," or, "I'm telling my daughters to do it now because I missed the opportunity," or, "They started to salt and pepper now, and now only the pepper is gonna work,
Right.
and your salt is not." So, those hairs have to be dark. So, definitely make sure that you're doing it before. But as far as, like, average age range, honestly, if you have dark hair, you are a candidate for laser hair removal. So,
Yeah. So the older you get, obviously, the less of a candidate. Typically, I have a lot of clients in their 60s, even 70s that still
yeah.
get it, but they have dark hair.
Yeah,
And
totally.
so they've decided they want to remove that. The other piece I get, kind of going back to men,
Mhm.
is the neck area,
Yeah.
especially this area here, or in general, if you just don't
Anybody
want a beard.
that's wearing, like,
So,
collared shirts, a lot of, like, I would say, like, our what do you call them? Blue collar
blue collar,
workers.
yeah, yeah.
Like, anybody that's just, like, has, they're sweating a lot and they're shaving or they just have the collar and it's, like, rubbing. Um, People who work out a lot, anybody that's just, like, you're shaving and that skin is just constantly being irritated and they're getting ingrown hairs and, you can, like, see it, like, right around here. So it's
Yeah, they get the more thick, coarse hairs here or the nape of the neck.
Mhm.
And in general, too, like let's take military. So
Mhm.
clean shaven, but they're
Right.
shaving every day. And
Mhm.
so with that, they don't want to do that anymore. That's an option.
Right.
You can get laser hair removal and you don't have to go and shave every day. You can
Mhm.
just get rid of it permanently. Now,
Yeah.
if later in life you decide you want to grow a beard, you're going to have trouble. But in the interim of all of these years of not
You can even
wanting to deal with it,
laser your head.
you can laser the top of your head. Yeah. This is, if everyone's watching here on YouTube. So you can laser the top of your head if you're just saying, hey,
I'm done shaving.
I'm done. I don't have a lot left. But again, doing it prior, because see, for me, I can't get it because
Right.
I'm salt pepper.
But you can still do it
And
down
so,
here. I
yeah,
mean,
I've had a few
we've
treatments
cleaned it
down
up.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I've had a few treatments down here. I didn't continue with them, but
And yeah, usually most of the time when we're doing men's beards, it's usually like jawline down so they can still, have their beard. But I have done full faces on men, especially the ones who get really bad cysts, or just from hair growth and, that kind of stuff too. So,
in shaping,
um, oh yeah.
you can shape. So if you like the way your beard is, but you grow too much hair up on your cheek
Yeah, I was gonna say
as
I
a
just did
man,
that for my brother
or
actually.
in between your brows as a man, or you just want to hit certain
Ears.
areas,
Yeah.
um, that's where you could just get those tiny areas done so that you don't have to worry about the maintenance of them and you have a nice clean cut beard
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah.
So,
So, as far as like laser goes, I think that kind of is the gist of it all. Making sure you shave beforehand, avoid sun exposure. We don't want to work on anybody that's too tan, or recently tanned, I guess is what I should say. And just making sure that you pick a clinic that you feel has educated you, they can answer your questions. They know the technology, they can, give you real answers, not just, I don't know, generic, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But definitely making sure that you feel comfortable with the place that you've chosen is huge. So,
and answers from experience. It's not just answers that they read in a book. It's
right.
more answers
They
knowing
didn't
that
chat
I know what
GPT it
I
before
know.
you walked in.
Right. But I know what I know because I've done it for so many years
Right.
and I can look at you and I can pretty much tell exactly what the outcome is going to be, what to expect for you individually based on, any characteristic that you have. And I think that's what you should be looking for when you get laser hair removal done, is not just a simple, safe, easy, quick treatment, just like going and getting a brow wax. It's a laser and it needs to be treated that way and it needs to be treated with respect. But also that you should know what you're getting into and that you and your technician have kind of partnered on a great treatment plan for you.
Correct. All right. So let's get into some rapid fire questions that don't have to do
Okay.
anything with laser hair removal. This can
Okay.
be,
All right. We're switching it up.
so don't think, turn your brain off. And it could be business, it can be personal. There are like a couple of like service specific, but okay, so I'll go first, asking you. Um, okay, this is business or aesthetic related. Sorry, right after I told you it wasn't.
Right.
Um, what is the most overrated aesthetic trend that you see right now
Probably off the top of my head, because I
for
do
you
I
specifically?
do a lot of permanent makeup as well. I've been doing permanent makeup for 22 years. And I train in it. And what I'm seeing a lot of is microblading. And microblading is a fine procedure, but I think it's overrated right now. One, people don't know the difference between permanent and microblading, so they call everything microblading.
Right.
But microblading is actually a temporary procedure. It's not a permanent procedure. It's meant to be temporary. Let's say that. Essentially, what you're doing, and I do a ton of them, but you have to do them correctly, is you're taking a blade that looks similar to a scalpel and you're making little cuts in their eyebrow, and then you're rubbing pigment into those cuts. Now, if it's done correctly, you're just sticking in that top layer of skin. They get a nice, crisp brow stroke. And then about 6 to 18 months, it disappears entirely. But what's happening that I see out there right now is why it's overrated, but also dangerous, is because about 90%, and I'm not kidding, 90% of technicians out there, I believe, are doing it wrong. They're going way too deep because it's very easy to go deep. And they feel like, oh, well, it's not retaining, so I need to give a little more pressure. That
And
seems to
they're
be the way you,
basically just taking a scalpel to your
they're
face
just cutting
and
your
cutting your
face.
face up.
And I want to be very clear with something, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. But in Arizona, there is no licensing for permanent makeup. There is no licensing for microblading. So if you have a technician that says, oh, I'm licensed or I went to school, understand that that means that they went to a 2-day class, because there
Which
isn't
is fine,
really a
but
school
there's no
in order that takes you through every little piece of it. You might have done a week, I don't know, but just know and understand that experience is extremely important in those areas. But microblading is temporary. And so that's where I say that's overrated. And we can do nano brows now. The micro nano needles that we use give you the same effect, but they are permanent. So you're only getting refreshes every, say, 2 to 5 years. And with microblading, if it's done wrong, you have a clouded out, dense mess of a brow forever. So that's something to be extremely careful with, is understanding, again, just like laser hair removal, you have to understand that, does the person have experience? Do they know what they're doing? So I put microblading in that category. It's not necessary.
that was a really long rapid fire question.
Sorry,
Answer.
microblading. Move on.
Okay, so my answer would have been just TikTok trends in skincare can be very dangerous. Just because you follow an influencer who maybe has beautiful skin or has a lot of followers does not make them an expert in your skin. So, making sure that the person that you're seeing understands you specifically, they understand what you do for a living, your habits, if you're on any medications. There's a big variety when we're choosing a skincare line for a specific person. So just randomly buying products off TikTok, which I love buying things off TikTok, as you know. However,
Is this your rapid fire?
yeah.
Your favorite
However,
question? Short answer.
influencers are not estheticians. There, I said it. Okay.
What's
Now
something that you pretend you're good at?
something I pretend I'm good at. Um, I pretend that I don't care what people think, but I do care what people think, and I'm trying to work on that. What's yours?
Uh, Probably trying to cook without a recipe. So I'm just gonna go personal on that one.
Okay.
But
All right. Rapid fire. It could be anything. What is a hill that you'll die on?
Um, Discipline beats motivation. First thing came to my mind.
Our poor children. Yeah.
So,
They hear this a lot.
um,
Mine, everybody that knows me and ever hangs around me and has been to our house knows that I am a diehard sunscreen person. So sunscreen head to toe every single day. I don't care if you are sitting at home, filming a podcast, whatever. Go and put your sunscreen on. Brush your teeth, put your sunscreen on. That's my hill. What okay, last one. This could be anything related. So, one thing you tell your 25-year-old self.
just one.
First thing that came to mind.
Slow down and smell the roses. I know that's used a lot, but time goes by very fast, and the older you get, the faster it goes, and you look back and realize you missed a lot of memories. That would be mine.
And I had kids really young, so on purpose, they had. But I would tell my 25-year-old self to also slow down, enjoy kids while they're young, because as my oldest son is quickly approaching graduation in just a few months, it is crazy how fast time goes. So I would tell my 25-year-old self, even though it is chaotic and you're so tired and you're overwhelmed, just enjoy your little ones as long as you can because they don't stay very young.
Yeah.
So, all
So
right.
just a yeah, I think we're good. But just a recap is make sure the place you're going to is reputable. Make sure that they have a reputation. That's what that means. Make sure they've been there for a while. They have the education and the experience. Especially in Arizona right now, there is a lot of spas that are just popping up, and that doesn't mean they don't have experience elsewhere. But just do your due diligence with that. Make sure that you're getting into the right treatments. Make sure you're asking the right questions about those treatments. And if you don't feel comfortable with the consultation, you can leave. You don't have to get a treatment just because you're there. So understand that if, hey, this is a red flag, I don't feel comfortable with your answers, I'm sorry, you don't have to stick around.
Right.
That's when you usually end up with, hey, now I have an issue that I have to fix because I didn't trust that I should have left.
Which, if you would have just came to a lure, you would have been fine.
Yeah, you would have been just fine.
Just
So, all right,
all right.
good.
Good for another month.
This ball.